Hey everybody, welcome to another StoryCorps. These videos will typically be me laying out a story and breaking down key points within that story. In explaining the story, I hope to point out tips and provide you with ideas on how to run your own. You can use this for one of your adventures and tweak it however you feel fit. Also, for our creative writing friends, you can use these hooks and pointers to help your writing. I hope everyone gets inspired, and without further ado, here's my StoryCorps, A Fish Out of Water. Preface. This was designed for the format of a one-shot, and as such, I require only one simple thing of my players. If you're running this as the start of an adventure, however, then I might maybe mention that the entire game will not be in the setting of the starting zone, and as such, do not overly tailor your character for these scenes. For my party, I simply required that they provide a backstory which had them doing something on the sea, though I allowed people who simply happened to be on the sea when they were mysteriously captured. In a full game, I would be more likely to stress that they were men who worked the sea or were often traveling among it. This will later be explained by the starting adventure and the story in large. Beginning. Okay, the beginning. Woo! As I mentioned in my last StoryCorps, sometimes lack of narrative or an NPC driven conversation can lead to some awkward party introductions. However, it can also bring your party together by leaving them with little option besides work and talk with each other. Well, I made another start like that. I know. I couldn't resist. In this starting location, your party will awake in the middle of a desert, surrounded by open sand dunes and in a circle of tents around a chest. The chest simply containing the information, "Go north if you wish to live," and an arrow pointing north. So obviously, you need to give your party some idea of where to go. But it makes little sense why they would be kidnapped and left in a desert, and then the note inside contradicts all that and asks party for help. But secretly, by offering them this small note of help, you can ease your way back to getting them to help your NPCs and not see everything as a threat. And that's important for what comes next. The hook. So the hook to really pull your party into this world from their seaborne past is my first encounter. Up in the distance, a massive house sits in a hill of sand, but as your party approaches, they quickly begin to put together the familiar pieces before them. A ship, buried in sand and broken in two, rests before them. This works great to tie together the story of the past and bring the players into the story they are now playing. Not only does this introduce an element of mystery as to how the ship got here, and if it has anything to do with how they got there, but it also provides ample chances for your party to lament or revel about their past and share stories with their new allies. Ultimately, this first encounter will culminate in a chance for your party to show their fighting skills or diplomacy, and will allow your players to get used to working with the abilities and strengths of each other. Theme. So the overarching story I have set up in this first adventure is one of redemption and atoning for one's past, or the alternative of embracing the evil and living it. This desert is being used as a place to drop all the terrible villains on the seas. The hope is that they all kill each other or die in the harsh conditions. Though the process is ultimately about removing these threats on the seas, there is some effort to reform and use these individuals as well. As such, the people who are deemed too undesirable and wicked are dropped with no information and are expected to never make it anywhere. However, for the redeemable few, the goal is to see how they handle tasks up to the point they reach Sand Rusher Fort. This place houses the man they are to seek, and he will offer them a clean slate and a future should they find themselves wanting to have a change of heart. They will of course be tested by their actions on the way to the fort, and the response to how these actions make them feel once in the presence of Lord Fontespo. Ultimately, if the party cooperates with the Lord and shows remorse for their past actions, he will give them a final task to prove their loyalty. After these steps have been taken, the party is free to head off to greener pastures, with their services being offered if ever needed in the future. Should the party refuse, well, then they are ended like the other criminals who died in the desert. However, since we are talking about a party of players, they are also free to remain on the path of evil. In this case, they can attempt to overthrow Lord Fontespo, and whether they kill him or simply escape, they're set onto a story of fighting the law until they find others like them and become rulers, or meet their timely demise. Having said that, you can of course tell your players before they join the game that you want them to be a party of good doers once playing in your campaign, or that this game is meant to be played evil. For me, and since this is a one-shot in the 2 times I ran it, I let the party decide their ending since it holds little impact on any future plans. However, it's worth considering the option of giving no direction in a longer game and just rolling with the party's decisions to flesh out your campaign. Sometimes the surprise can be fun for the DM and the players. Clues. So whether the party goes to the dark side or the light, it is important to show them what is going on and give them ample chances to prove their character's morality. For this adventure, the clues will represent these moral decisions. First encounter. The first encounter provides a lot of information to be seized. In my game, I provided a letter from the crew of the ship mentioning a drifter with information. Also, the party is ambushed by a group of people who live in the desert who could provide them with information. Another thing is the leader of this desert tribe is also a criminal who was abandoned in the desert and has since assimilated to this tribe. The ship's storage vault contains a note mentioning dealings with pirates and some collusion of storage vessel trying to claim insurance fraud to deal with the pirates. And finally, among the mundane and subtle clues is that of a near fresh corpse of a crocodile, which rests on the deck of the ship. These things, each on their own, can provide clues to why the party is here, as well as show that they did not merely get captured, but entire ships of people like them are being brought here by some means. An important thing to note is by tying in some of the aspects of piracy and illegal doings, you can tempt them to either act on this information in the future or hide it from the Lord. More pirates? A second clue is a run-in with more bad dudes. In this camp, a group of bandits has murdered the occupants and are searching about for their stored supplies and other things. This group will allow the party to approach their leader while they sneak into place to ambush the party. The leader is the first major conflict in authority that the party will need to react to, and furthermore decide their allegiances in. The leader, a man who refuses to provide his name, will demand the party assist in a little expedition he has planned, of course threatening their lives if they do not assist. The leader will also mention the great fort to the north and give the characters some insight into the place they may need to go if they wish to set themselves free. Alternate themes, or additional clues. Now, being that I run this as a one-shot, I avoid bogging down the party with several encounters, all similar in nature. However, in a campaign, you could throw these few extra events in to both reinforce and add points of moral conflict. Lover's Quarrel. In this encounter, 2 pirate ships are each resting on the opposite sides of a canyon. Below runs the path the party must take to get through their objective. Above, on the ships, cannons ring out and a man and a woman can be seen shouting back and forth while their crews battle it out. Ultimately, should the party try to assist, they'll find out that these are lovers who both run under the same pirate flag. However, due to some comments made by the male pirate captain, the female, whom was his lover, is now angry and blames him for their current predicament, aka them now being in a desert. This encounter can offer a great chance for conflict resolution or to show your players as heartless killers. Additionally, it also cements in the theme that everyone they meet in this desert has some kind of shady past. The Wanderer. A man of the desert wanders in search of a temple of Tiamat. A monk of a forgotten religious order, this man will be curt and not afraid to fight. From this encounter, the party can show more moral aptitude and also get some information about the fort and other people that dwell in this desert, some new, and others who have made their life here. Danger! A pack of what I call sand shifters either seek out the party, or if your party is being very careful, they can observe these creatures in the distance fighting something else. This encounter merely means to show the intense danger of the desert and the vicious nature of the people and the creatures which dwell within it. These creatures will attempt to tear at their victims, spilling their blood, and particularly trying to leave deep bleeding wounds. A mix of a dragonborn and a monitor wizard, These beings are cursed to roam the desert, eating creatures and drinking their blood to sate the thirst. Finale. In the end, you have the two situations I already described. Ultimately, they are led to the Sandrusher fort, where they're either on a mission to assist the revenant leader of the bandits get an item from Lord Frontespo's keep, or they find their way there as an attempt to escape the desert. In both situations, I would have the Lord know what they've been up to, and to attempt to draw out a confession of these actions since arriving here. Depending on their levels of cooperation and intents on whether to turn a new leaf or steal the item they were sent for and keep being evil, would determine their outcome. You can have a fight between Lord Fontespo and his guards where the bandits come in to help in retrieving the item, or you can have the party turn on the bandit leader and assist Lord Fontespo in ending the bandit group. My first party chose to pick the latter, and as such they took a caravan north toward the sea, and when confronted by this revenant leader, they ambushed him and killed his group of bandits. I was surprised at the change of heart and pure cooperation I received in my first run-through. The role-playing was great, and the two players clearly showed their motivations of escaping this desert by any means necessary. Their ending went something like this. Ending. After slaying 20 or so bandits with the help of Lord Fontespo's guards, the party finally stood alone with the revenant leader. They had learned to be known as Lord Broken Rock. After much fighting and bickering between the two sides, the undead lay on the ground, chuckling as he bled out. "Ah, you stupid fools! You think you won! You can't stop me! I'll not rest until me revenge is due, and that lord inside the fort pays for what he did to me and my crew." Yeah, we heard it all before. We know about your little tricks, and we may not be able to stop you, but we'll make sure it's unpleasant for you to come back. In a chest, filled with vile eel and fish guts, the head of the bandit lord was placed in a sack, locked and tossed in the chest, and tossed out to sea. The two comrades turned and looked at one another, proud of their work and their clean slate. Opening the letter they had received at the dock, the two peered down at the words. "Thank you for all your help in the matters. Inside you will find your clean slate, each with your names and previous aliases. I hope you keep with your new take on life, and I may come calling on you again in the future. Till then, best of luck to you both, and enjoy your return to the sea. Signed, Lord Fontespo." Oh, the life of a revenant and outlaws. Am I right? Well, I hope this StoryCorps was helpful, and if you liked what you saw, please share the channel and consider leaving it a like. It really helps the channel grow. StoryCorps aims to be your #1 channel for fostering creative storytelling and for finding inspiration to make your own stories come to life. I'll always provide the StoryCorps as long as you all keep building around them. Have a wonderful day, and please subscribe if you want to see more content. Thank you for listening, you salty dogs.